At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting.
I second it.
All in favor?
Yes, okay.
Approved unanimously. We're going to move to the new business. The first one on the agenda on the new business is the 2020 proposed budget for board discussion only, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Lee right now.
Okay, so the board has in front of them a copy of the proposed budget for the 2020 year. What tag is it on the tag? It's the final one. This is the final one. Sorry. Keep going. Got it. Go. That's it. Flip one more there, Harry. There you go. I'm sorry to print this small. I'm having a problem reading it myself here. So what we went ahead and did on the 2020 proposed budget was the association already had a reserve set up that was partially funded, and it was an insurance reserve. So there's approximately $39,000 in that, or excuse me, there's a, what's the amount? Can you have me? I apologize. No, I have that. Can you have me that financial, the first page? Because my Wi-Fi closed out on me. I apologize. Technical issue. I apologize. Okay. So the association has $36,024 in insurance reserve already. Your deductible is $70,000, $75,000, excuse me. So between the difference of that, we're going to go ahead and start funding that reserve. You had the reserve sitting there. You had not funded it in a period of time. It was not funded in previous years from what I can see, but it is sitting there. So you do have a partial amount in order to, so what we can go ahead and do is continue to fund that reserve this year. So by funding that reserve and bringing you up to $75,000 at the end of your 2020 fiscal year, and the adjustments made in your budget to management services, although Cody's not on site, he's at our office, his location changes, he'll still be visiting the property quite frequently every week, every day. He's just going to be at our office. So it does save you a significant amount of money there, which you're able to reapply funds accordingly to fund that reserve. Your insurance premium did go up as a result of some recent claims, which last year you were budgeted as $16,300 for insurance. You've spent $24,800. We're anticipating the premium to be about $27,000 next year. Hopefully it'll be lower. We'll shop it. We'll attempt to get it lower. So with that being said, we would have the assessments at $218.58 for a year for each home.
And just that the residents know if there's any need, because besides that 75,000, there's a 25 back end for the CAN. If there's a need to raise that money, we'll have a special assessment going out throughout the community to raise that money. In the event we burn through that 75,000, we'll have to fund that 25,000. So at the end of the day, we're funding the 75 that protects the board, but if there's a 25 that's needed, just to clarify, we'll do a special assessment. But we're hoping it doesn't come to that.
And keep in mind that $75,000 too is funding it fully for the whole year. So on January 1, you won't have all the funds in there right away until you collect all of the assessments.
Right. And in the event next year when we shop for insurance and we have a cheaper insurance with the same coverage, right? Then we'll be able to offset the 2021 budget to reflect whatever needs to be taken out of the reserve. So the goal next year is to fund the insurance without impacting everyone's pocketbook, because at the end of the day, it's not everyone's fault that a few people decide to do what they did. And we all know too well that we have to pony out the cost for other people's actions. So one accomplishment we did, we managed to keep fees basically the same as last year. probably like a few dollars increase here and there. It's not final. It'll be final when we go through now. But I've never seen this done in this community where the budget was proposed to the resident beforehand, before final budget was established. All I saw was a final budget that came to my door, basically demanding money. In this instance, we're showing everybody, basically, here's the budget. And I just want to throw one thing out there. If there's a public record request for documentation, if you want to see this, you just go through Cory. And you know, there's an avenue that has to be adhered to, basically, to get whatever records you need. And Cory and Doug and Weiss have that written. But back to the insurance and the budget. It's an accomplishment to do it with the same funds that we did last year. Basically, the prior budgets had a lot of fluff in it, and we had to streamline it in order to make it part of the community. Prior years, you know, everything was paid to the developer, and we never know what happened. So now, full disclosure now, you know, I'm offering that to the whole committee. I was never afforded that for many years. So again, if you need information, you want to go public record request, whatever, you follow the channel, get that public record request in, and you know, we'll take it from there. You get to view whatever document. This board, from day one, we're not in the business of holding records from anyone, because I've gone through that lawsuit with Bruce Vitale and Michelle Shaw back in 2006-07 when we came to meetings and they had secret meetings right there. And when we approach them, they go silent. We wanted records, nothing was given to us. We had to take measures legitimately to actually get those records. And the day we went to court, 12 boxes were there. I went through the boxes when we got it. I went through all the financials. And we found a lot of stuff during it. And I can guarantee you this board is not in the business to repeat what was done to this community. And though you may hear things out there, I ask that you come to me and ask me whatever questions you have. I will give you documentation if it's in my possession. We're not hiding anything. We're transparent. And the budget is transparent. Forced mowing, I did that back in 2006 and 7. I took my lawnmower, went to my neighbor's house who abandoned the properties on Cosmo Island Drive, 7 properties. And I mowed those lawns. Didn't ask for a penny from anyone. We did it throughout the whole community. Everybody had their block that they did it. So forced mowing, yes, we did that. This time the economy is different. If the property goes into despair, you know, we'll handle it when we get there. So at the end of the day, transparency is key. And if you need something, ask. Don't go off the edge and start spreading rumors or trying to do anything to hinder the community or to you know, to cast darkness upon your neighbors or anything like that. It's all available.
With that being said, I may ask, does the board want to make a motion to send notice and the proposed budget out to all residents for the next meeting?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Please do. All right, next item on the agenda. And at the end of the meeting, we'll give everybody an opportunity, 10 minutes to see whatever you have to see. Each one will be allotted 2 minutes. Attorney Matters.
All right, thank you very much. We've got 14 pending mortgage foreclosure actions that are going on in the community that I'm involved in, so those are just continuing to move along. There is one property that is the subject of a mortgage foreclosure that's been going on since 2010, unfortunately, and that does not look like it's anywhere near completion, unfortunately.
Can I ask what street it's on?
That property happens to be at 18009 Lanai, which is also
The worst one.
which is also on my agenda and radar because of the Airbnb activity and the lien that the association has on that property. I've got a hearing scheduled on my motion to close that file out that we have been struggling to get hearing time with the judge in this particular case. Her calendar is very difficult to get on, but we finally did get on that calendar and we have a hearing scheduled for November. So I'm anticipating that that case will be closed out and that we will be proceeding to a foreclosure sale on that property in November. And in that judgment, I'm also asking the court to order that the Airbnb activity be ordered to be stopped. So hopefully that will come to a conclusion. You'll see some changes on that property. As you know, we did get title to, or got the property sold at 10730, I think it is, Cory Lake, which was the other.
How much did we get on that property, Tim?
We got paid in full, I believe. I don't want to misstate the number, but I thought we recovered about $8,000. I turned it over to Weiss, but it was between 5,000 and 8,000. But I feel like it was like, maybe the sale was 8,000 and we got 5,000, but I can certainly get those numbers, and Doug would have that as well.
How much attorney's expenses did we spend on it?
I don't know that
Did we
answer.
at least get our attorney's expense out of it?
Yes.
Thank you.
And the balance goes towards our.
6,000. We covered 6,000.
Okay.
And I can't speak to what the prior attorney did, because remember, I inherited that case and it was a mess when I inherited it. But we got it over the goal line and got it finished. The only other thing that I wanted to bring up was if homeowners request records from the association and you obtain those records, you may have some legal responsibilities with what you do with those records. You're all entitled to see those records and you're entitled to ask for them. The board's required to keep them and the board is required to provide them to you. But what you do with those records once you get them is your responsibility entirely. So, for instance, if you get information about past due accounts for particular homeowners, and you post that information on a website, or you disseminate that information to other people, you are in violation of the Florida Consumer Collection Practices Act. And you can face judicial consequences for that. I won't go into what those are, but it's very important that people realize that you may obtain sensitive information that you just can't put out there just because you happen to get it from your homeowners association. The board's not responsible for those actions. Whatever a homeowner does with that information, once they receive it, that's on them, and that's completely your responsibility. So I would caution any of the members of this association that do obtain association records that does not give you carte blanche to disseminate that information to anybody you choose. That's all I have.
Thank you.